Alright, sorry about the sudden break there, but I was interrupted a little bit. So we'll just pick right back up where we left off. So we were doing this rectangle drawing, right? So we set its position, but we're not completely done with that. We set the context height. Well, say that this window, the HUD, or the script editor, is my actual box I want to draw. When I give it these coordinates, we've already set the x coordinate all the way to the far right. And what we did was we actually set the y coordinate to the very bottom of the screen by using get height. What that's going to do is that's actually going to draw it like this to where it's off the screen. So what we're going to do is actually say that we want to subtract from that height the self.size dot y. So by saying self-size dot y, what we did is we actually pulled this size, this 25, and the second y is the second variable in a vector 2. So now we've subtracted that from the height. So now what it'll do is it'll actually line it up with the bottom corner of the window. Alright, and then how big do we want to make the box? Well, self.size.x. Oops. How about dot? That would be nice. And then we want to say self.size.y. And what that'll do is it'll draw our rectangle at the 0 coordinate and at the total height of the screen minus its own size. But then it'll draw the box its size, length, and size height. Alright, so we also need to set the color. Because right now we haven't given it a good color to work with it yet. So context set color. And right now, since we're going to just draw this background, we're actually going to make it the self background color factor. So now, when we save this, we should have a black box in the corner of our screen like you see there. That makes our background. Seeing it now, it looks a little small. So let's make this actually like 300 by 50. And so by changing these values, we've changed all this math in here that we've already scripted to run. So now when we run it, it's big. Probably too big. So let's make a compromise. We'll have that, and we'll say let's just make it like 30. That looks good for now. The other thing we can do is we can knock off. You can make this X and Y a little bit more. Well, if you don't want it right in the corner, you can make it like 1, 2. The other thing you can do is factor it. By factoring it, what you do is you do context get width, and then you multiply that by a factor like 0.01. So it's now only 1% of the total length, and it sets it off a little. So let's do that with the height actually too. So what we want to do is actually, because it's going to be, to keep the order of operations 100% correct and all that, I like to put it in parentheses like that. And we're going to times that also by 1%. By doing this, what ends up happening is whenever you size the screen differently for a different resolution or make it full screen, you don't have to come back and change all hard values because they're factored. You might have to tweak the factors a little bit. I did something wrong. Oh. I'd multiplied it by 0.01, which put it in the 1% up here. We actually want to multiply that by 99 because we want it all the way down here. There you go. So now we got a little bit of an offset going on to where it's not right in the corner. Another thing, what we're going to do, well actually, what we're going to do next is we're going to make the health bar. Because we got this background bar. Oops. We want to make a health bar. So what we're going to do is, first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure we change the set color to the health color. And right now, if we run the script, it's going to be a red box instead of a black box. And actually what's happening is it's drawing the black box, then drawing the red box directly over top of it. Just to give you an idea of what that's like, I'm going to change this factor to 90 and offset them a little, and see how there's two boxes there. And if I change this back to 99, now they're right over top of each other again. But what we're going to do is we're going to make a health factor. So let's come back up here to our header where we have all these crazy blank stuff. Health factor. We're going to make that nil right now. Alright, so whenever we are running, we're getting the max health and the health. We haven't actually grabbed those. Oh yeah, we did right here. So what we can do is make our health factor completely based off of those. So if we say self.health factor equals, and let's just say self.health text divided by self.max health text. And actually, I don't have a very strong feeling that I spelled those right. Yep, I already spelled that one wrong. So I'm just going to copy and paste those. Yep, spelled them both wrong. There we go. Now I'm feeling a little bit better about that. You have to make sure they are all exactly the same. See, like I missed the H there. If they're not spelled exactly the same, it won't work. Alright, so what we're going to do is the actual position is okay, but what we want to do is right here. This is the length of the bar. What we're going to do is multiply that by our self-health factor. Alright, when we save that, it still looks right, but if we like take a bunch of damage, it didn't work. Why didn't that work? Because I did it to the background. Derp. And you should have done it to the health bar. That would help. Because the background being in the back, you can't see it. When we take damage, see how it turned red to black? It will scale it. We can throw a zombie in there. Let him hit us a couple times and you can see a little better. Add-ons. Zombies. Model. Prefab. Throw a zombie in there. He comes over. See, as he's hitting us, he goes down. That's exactly what we wanted to happen. Alright. So, I'll just leave him there for now. He's not hurting nothing. Yet. Because I'm not running it. As soon as you run it, it will hurt something. It'll hurt your player. Okay, so now we've got the health bar drawn. Okay. So, what I'm actually going to also do is I'm going to make its size a little bigger. So, because what I want to do is I also want to throw some text in there, into that background block. So, what we're going to do here in the background, we actually want to draw that twice as large as it actually is. So we need to make sure that in both sides we make a ×2 multiplier. What that'll do is it'll take that size, times it by 2 just in here, not actually, since we didn't make an equals, it won't actually multiply it out. Now it should be twice as tall as it was before. There we go. Alright, so now that we've got the bar moved up, and we got both our bars generated and working properly, we need to add all the text. Actually, before we do that, we need a ammo box too. So what we're going to do is just copy out that line and paste it back in. Now the thing is, we don't want this, we're going to reverse this part because we want it at the far right side, and then we have to subtract our self size. Or actually, let's not subtract the self size. Let's do something else with that. Okay, so up here we've already got all our text written out. What we can do is, instead of subtracting that, we can subtract from the position and the height. Okay. Let's just make sure that's right, because I'm not getting a good feeling about that. No, I did it wrong. Alright, the width is times 99. Yeah, because I didn't subtract. So subtract self dot size dot x. Let's just do that as a test. Yep, there we go. Okay, so that's looking good. That's what we wanted. Let's take this zombie back out because you didn't get to see it very well. See how now there's that black box that's like right underneath the shotgun stock. I don't know if you can see it very well, but it's there. Alright, so we're going to put some text in that. We might change this part right here a little bit later. But, alright, so when we go to put text in it, we're going to do context, draw, text. Okay, so context, draw, text. Once again, we need to tell it what text it's supposed to write. We need to give it an X and a Y positioning. Alright, so to give it the text, the first thing we're going to draw is the health text. So the text, what we're going to actually do is, let's do right down here, actually, right at the bottom of this. Let's make another variable, call it script dot health display equals nil. Alright, so now the display is going to show some stuff. So self dot health display. Alright, I'm not feeling too great about that. So we'll copy and paste it. Alright, so self.healthDisplay equals, we need to give it some text in here. So let's say health, it'll display the word health, and then we'll give it a space, and then we'll say equals another space, close the quote. So what that'll do is it'll put health equals and space it out. And then we're just going to come in here, we're going to drop a double dot, and then we're going to say self dot health text, and then let's drop another double dot because we want to put a dividing line in there. So let's drop a space like that, and then dot dot self dot max health text. Let's just copy this out. Alright, so that's what our health display is going to read. So now our text should be self dot health display, and then where are we going to put it? Well, let's just say context draw, or context get height, and I'm doing this backwards, our X value is context get height, or get width, multiplied by our 0.01. And that will start it at the same point as the box. Now, I'll just show you what I'm going to say. And then 0.9. So we'll take the height, and basically you're doing the same X, Y positioning from before. You don't need to give it a size because it's going to determine it based on the actual text. So when we run it, see how that's kind of messed up? I don't like that. First off, this number's way too big. Let's try 12. And we didn't reset the color. So what we do is context set color to, let's get back up here, self dot text color factored. Alright, see, it's not, the height isn't quite right. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually say the same thing as we said for the health bar right here for its Y. But we're going to say something else as well. So we want to context get height, and we want to multiply that by 99 and then subtract self size Y. We don't want to just subtract that because I don't think it's going to place it right. Yeah. If we do multiplied by 2 though, it should come up better. But I think it's going to be at the very, see how it's at the very top? That looks like trash. So let's multiply it by 0.17. See what happens. Just kind of got to play with it. There we go. Look, that the top and bottom looks really good. The left to right doesn't look so great. So right here, we've got this where it's just finding the width like that. And then what we want to do is actually subtract self.size.x, divide that by 2, and what it does is it'll put it right in the middle of the self size. Or not. Okay. I just did my math wrong, because when we divide that by 2, we're subtracting that from that. So context get height times 1.0. That put us at a good start. We want to subtract. We want to add. That's why. Let's add. Okay. Getting better. Let's do 1.5. Let's see where that puts it. Not so good. Let's just add 1. And if you're dividing by 1, why even do anything? Okay, so that put it all the way over there. So let's multiply that by half. Because that would have been the divide by 2. Yeah, multiply by half. I accidentally hit debug mode, so it's going to hit a stop in the FPS player. Alright. Let's try this again. Getting there. Instead of half, where was that? It's right here. Okay. Let's try 2.5. And see how you just kind of keep playing. Keep playing with the factors until you find what looks good for you. I like that. That looks really good. Alright. Let's get our zombie back in here. Beat on us a little bit so we can see what the numbers are. See, smacks us with 5 every time. Okay. And that's because if you look at the zombie, I believe his damage, which isn't set here, it's in the monster, his damage. Yep, see his damage is set to 5, so he's going to hit you for 5 every time. Let's cut the video here, and we'll start the next one next.